The Tim and Tony podcast is brought to you by
Tim. Do you care about sustainability?
I do.
Do you care about comfort?
I very much do.
Do you care about style?
A little bit.
Do you care about just looking good?
I really do. I really do care about all those things. I didn't mean to put sustainability. It feels like I put sustainability a little lower on that list than I should have.
It
but I care
sounded
about
like
those things deeply.
And in fact, sustainability is actually one of the best parts about what I'm about to talk about. Allbirds, they make incredible shoes. They make incredible clothing. They make incredible socks. Tell us about it, Tim.
Welcome to the program, Allbirds. We're happy to have you on board.
Absolutely.
These are, no exaggeration, the most comfortable fucking shoes I've ever worn in my entire life.
And you don't have to just wear them when you're having sex.
That's right. That's right. I can't believe we just put that in an ad. They look great. They feel better, and they're good for the planet. This is a little bit different than we've done in the other ones. We're going to attach the link to go to Allbirds, where you can pick up not only a pair of shoes, a shirt. They're making joggers. They've got shorts, whatever you want. You buy anything on the store, you get a free pair of socks with it on us. If you do go to the store and buy some Allbirds, please use the link that's in the description of this podcast.
Yes, and they don't do deals like this. This is like the only one out there. Like, this is the one deal. So that's what we're bringing to you guys. You should do it. Get the stuff because it's a great company and they make great stuff.
Tony, before we had this podcast and we received this next wonderful sponsor, we both struggled with our fashion game, specifically and especially our gym fashion game, which is an underrated part of going to the gym.
Yes.
So please tell the people how they can get more excited about going to the gym and what company they can go to buy some stuff that'll make them feel better.
So what's great is, wow, interesting. We're keeping that in. So all you got to do is go to titleware.com, because what you're going to find there is you're going to find some of the most comfortable and flattering, might I add, gym wear on the market. They got hoodies, they got sleeveless hoodies, they got tank tops, they got t-shirts, they got shorts, they've got compression pants, and they've got sports bras, they've got leggings, they've got all of it. It's fantastic. The quality is amazing. It's made for workouts, so they're durable, and it's just plain comfortable. So, Tim, what's that promo code?
Very easy to remember. It is TNT15. That's TANDT15. That's 15% off your entire order. You can order one thing. You can order 13 things. You can order 100 fucking things. It's 15% off the entire order at title.com.
And if you want to order 100 fucking things, you do it, and you do it with the promo code TANDT15. Tim, why do you use Bucked Up?
Because, Tony, everybody needs a little help in their life. I found out a few years ago that I needed that extra push to actually do my workouts at the level that I wanted to be doing them at, and to get the results that I wanted to out of working out. And so, one of the most frustrating things is when you're hitting the gym as hard as your body will allow you to, and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. These supplements will really help you get to that next level, get to that next step, and push you to hopefully reach your goals. So that's why I use it.
Bucked Up. It tastes fantastic, and it helps you work out. Get it. Use it. We have a promo code, right?
We do. Promo code, very easy to remember. It's TANDT20. Get 20% off your Bucked Up order. They have supplements, every single one you can think of, shirts, hats, fucking joggers, anything you could possibly want. They've got it.
Fucking
TNT
joggers.
TNT 20. Get 20% off your entire order today online, buckedup.com.
TANDT 20.
All right, it is my turn to do a cold open. And per usual, I have no idea where this is going to go until it starts coming out of my mouth.
Yep.
Tony, do you think that it's do you think that it might have hurt our popularity in Virginia to have had just a pure and unadulterated shit show on a national stage for the last 10 months? And then do you think that it hurt or help us that we then decided to focus all of our energies on somebody who is no longer president anymore as a means of dissuading people from voting for the other guy? You think that was a weird strategy?
Or do you think it was a weird strategy to get somebody to be governor that was already governor, that had one of the lowest approval ratings at the end of his tenure, and was Hillary Clinton's campaign chair? Do you think maybe that was a problem?
Do you think like leaving your voters unenthused? Like, here's the thing. There's one thing we know about politics is that Republicans are consistent. Their numbers are very consistent. This last election aside, their numbers throughout history are very, very consistent over the last 30 years. Democrats go up and down depending on how enthused, angry, happy they are. They need to actually be inspired to go vote. So when you spend the whole fucking election being like, Trump endorsed this guy, he's like, guess what? He's not president anymore. You're in charge. You're in fucking charge. And I'm not saying it's right. There's definitively one party that's trying to help things and one that is not, definitively. But when you can't show the difference by actual policy making, it becomes really hard to say, oh, we're different. It's like, no, actually, the results have been the same thus far. Haven't noticed a difference. You just claim to be different. And so, again, I'm not saying that I'm changing my political affiliation anytime soon. My point is,
okay.
My point is that if you have any sense at all, you are going to put back in provisions that have 80% approval ratings, like paid family leave.
We don't know, but Tim, we don't have sense. What we do have
Zero.
is Joe Manchin. What we do have is Kirsten Sinema. And what we do have for the people is a podcast to do.
And on that note, let's get off this topic. I hate politics.
Yep.
On this note, Elvis Monroe, play us in. I want to talk about something else.
In a crowded room, somewhere in town.
All right. We're back. I need to get out of that funk. See, that's the thing, is that like, as much as I love politics, it really does just put you in the world's shittiest mood. So I got to shake that off.
And, you know, for the listeners, we're going to be, ironically, we're going to be doing a lot more politics moving forward. So, but today is not that day. Today, Tim, what are we talking about? And who's, I think we've seen.
Oh, is there somebody else here?
There's someone else here who
God.
didn't chime in during the cold open. He could have if he wanted to.
We have Chris with us today. He's been with us on a pod before.
Producer Chris, he's back.
Chris, I believe you were on. Were you on the Inception one, or am I making that up?
That's Mike. That was Mike.
Damn it.
Yeah,
I apologize.
I was on the one with the. It was Groundhog Day and
that's right,
Palm Springs.
Yeah. I was about to give you credit for being on our most listened to episode either. But regardless, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to have Mike back on just to tell him that.
Yeah, you're right.
He'll be very happy.
But the reason we have Chris here, Tony,
yes,
is because you and I are how shall we say visual people. We see the movies.
Yes,
we watch the television shows.
Yes.
I was an English major, so I've done all the reading I'm going to do for my life. I don't know that I have anything left in me. So we have not read the books.
And I barely did the reading throughout my entire tenure in school. So,
I sincerely do wish I could do more reading, but
Same.
unfortunately, the time does not permit. So I'm now just an exclusively visual person who watches movies and comes to radical conclusions on them. But Chris is familiar with some of the background on the movie we're doing today, which is Dune. The first thing that I want to say before we get into it is halfway through this movie, I was like, I keep these little notes I'm writing, even though I do it on an iPad. I keep these little notes in my iPad. And
wow, you have an iPad. That's nice.
Yeah, I know. Just stop. But I was keeping these notes and I was like, wow, they really ripped off Star Wars here. Not knowing
that it's the other way
it's
around.
actually the other way around.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
Again, Google is your friend. That's really the lesson that I've learned today.
As long as you use it.
Do some fucking research before you go on a podcast in front of a bunch of people and just start spraying shit, which I did. And so I do not have the take, wow, they stole a lot from Star Wars today. Just wanted to grace you with that.
Yeah.
That was going to be your profound take for the pod. That's great. And again, since we're an audio only medium for most of our listenership, Tim did put a thumbs up.
Absolutely. That was going to be my whole take.
It's great. Like when a book comes out prior to everything and it's like, oh, everything's like they ripped off a lot of stuff. And you're like, backtrack a little bit. This one like set the science fiction like genre on its way, basically. Like there was science fiction prior to this, but this was this big stepping stone into like multiplanetary and stuff. Items.
Batshit crazy names.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the things
except for a couple people. There's Haramanu Harkonnen, and then there's Dave over here.
Well,
There's
I was thinking
Dave Wisconsin over here. That's just
Idaho.
Oh, we'll get to it. I'm intentionally not giving the actual name.
Okay.
everything's stolen from something. I mean, most stories take a lot from actually we were just talking about Greek mythology before we came on the podcast, but there is
we are those people.
Yeah, it is an old Greek story. That really did sound douchey. I didn't realize how douchey that sounded until I said that out loud.
We were discussing Greek mythology.
Yeah, that was really horrible. I'm sorry for everybody who had to listen to that. But there is an old Greek story called Hero's Journey, which basically outlines the plot lines of most, if not all, 20th century books and plays and movies.
Wait, hold on. Above your shoulder. Wait, oh no, I don't see your English degree. Where oh, okay, sorry. No,
I've got it right here. I keep it.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's good.
Just for inspiration.
Wait, you don't have it in like a hermetically sealed like case? You know how?
No.
You know how much money you paid for that thing?
I know. This is the most expensive thing I own. Like by far. Well, actually, no. My law degree is.
I was gonna say.
I was just about to say. I was like, the law degree should top that because I don't even have that hermetically sealed. That thing is just sitting in that little portfolio thing. Just.
I was gonna say the law degree. Like when I see that, I see like a condo in Iowa.
Oh God.
No, but that's what the housing market is right now. That's all I'm saying. Like for like 150 grand or whatever the fuck I spent. Condo in Iowa, or that piece of paper right there, basically.
Wow, you're going about that all wrong. That's just that's terrible. I'd rather remember all the stress and anxiety that I had for 3 years than a condo in Iowa. Shout out Everett. Des Moines.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my last noob take, if you will.
Oh, okay. This is good.
And then I promise we'll get into the plot.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the trailer for this movie, when I saw who was cast in it, I'm a very cynical being, and I tend to go the opposite way of people. When I hear all the big stars that are going to be in a movie, I'm instantly like, that's not going to work. And here's why.
What?
Because the reason why we in science fiction movies, when you think about the ones that really make it, they're done with lead actors who are generally unknown before, because you believe the story more in this person is literally Luke Skywalker. He's not anything else to me. When you get Zendaya, I'm worried that you're like, that's Zendaya playing somebody else. And it takes a little bit of the belief system away.
And when you get
that
Timothy Chalamet, you just think of a kid riding a bike around Italy.
Well, I mean, that is not what, by the way, not Timothy Chalamet's first space movie. But that is not what happened in this movie. They actually were able to pull it off and balance the different star talent that they had in this movie, which I actually thought was impressive. By the way,
so? Really?
Tony, which other space movie has Timothy Chalamet been
Interstellar. Stop it.
All right. Okay, good. I was just checking. I was checking to make sure you were awake this morning.
Yeah. What? Okay, so that's the second time you said this morning. I'm getting concerned. It's 8:50 p.m.
All my days and times have blended together at this point. Time has no meaning. Days have really no meaning.
And maybe we should have done Interstellar today.
No, I'm not high enough for that.
No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. So, Chris, Dune, why did I hate it?
Well, one, it didn't really feel like it had a concrete ending, and that's partly because
Oh, no, that's fine. I knew that going in. It didn't feel like it had a concrete beginning. I felt like, and I kind of teased this at the end of our last pod, I felt like I missed a movie. Like we just jump in and it's like, okay, that's Oscar Isaac. Cool. Okay. Leto Atreides. Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And then from there, just shit gets thrown at me. There's some people signing over some planets, but like there's some backstabbing. I don't know anybody's names. There's a dude that if Star Wars would have come first, I would have said that he was a ripoff from Jabba the Hutt. But then, obviously
There's a lot of ripoffs. The
Yeah.
Emperor.
Yeah, the Emperor,
Yeah.
all that stuff. A lot goes on and not a lot's explained. And maybe the movie was made assuming that you already kind of knew what was going on. I've always said that that's a bad assumption, no matter what it is.
yeah,
Unless it's like a sequential movie, then obviously you need to assume that someone's already seen the previous movies. But with Dune, I didn't know what the hell was going on. And really, I know a handful of characters because they're the ones that have normal names. I know Paul, I know Jessica, and Leto, and Duncan, Idaho. Those are the four people that I know.
okay.
I know Thanos was in it. I don't know his name. There are so many people and there was so much going on. It was very, very, very just disorienting.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's the thing, is that this was a very soft world building movie. We're used to two different ideas, where there's the hard world building, there's soft world building, and the book kind of sits in the middle of that. So I think that's where it could have gone. The movie could have been, we're gonna get hard world building, we need to explain everything, or we can go soft and kind of you discover it as you go, which obviously they went that route, like super soft.
Very.
And it was a very much like kind of, you didn't realize the importance of what they were doing everything until like a third through the movie, at least.
I didn't understand the importance of anything, and I'm trying not to just shit on the movie. I love Denis Villeneuve as a director. Yeah. Arrival's one of my favorite, if not my favorite movie of all time. Like, I was very much going into this with an open mind. I wanted to like the movie, but at no point did I feel like it made sense. And at no point did it really come together as a story for me. Which, by the way, a lot of people that had already read the books absolutely adored the movie, which is funny because it's normally the other way around. It's normally the people that haven't read the book and then see the movie, they're like, oh, that was a dope movie. And then the people that have read the book are like, oh, that's bullshit. They didn't do this. They didn't do this. They didn't do this. And so it's interesting. This is the stark opposite of what normally happens.
Yeah, well, coming from someone who read the book, and that's I knew a lot of the stuff going into it.
Right.
There's changes which we'll get into that he made to the plot and to how everything went down, and I think those were wise decisions. And people who read the book, they were like, yeah, it wouldn't have played out as well if they did this that was in the book. He did it this way. It lends itself better to the cinema, basically. So I think that's people who understand the lore, understand the backstory, understand where it's going and where it came from,
Sure,
are more appreciative of that, and so they can highlight that. And also, we read these books when we were like in 7th, 8th grade. This was a young adult novel.
right.
It's progressively got moved back to now, like 7th and 8th graders are reading it, like kind of like Holes or whatever that you read in like 5th grade. But that's the thing. We read it so far back, and there's also not that attachment that you have to like Harry Potter.
Sure.
Some people are so attached to when the movie screwed up something, they're like, how dare they, or whatnot.
Right.
But like, I think this is very similar because
and by the way, Tim was one of those people.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
But
100%.
but I feel this is more like kind of what happened with kind of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. People love the books, but I think this is also similar with fantasy. We love the books, but we also love the movies. I mean, myself being someone who read all of Tolkien's stuff, the only movies I hated was The Hobbit, but that's because, we'll
do a
topic
review.
for a
Don't
different
worry.
time,
Yeah,
yeah.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
topic for a different time. But
Right.
no, but I love the Lord of the Rings series, the extended cuts and everything. Even though the normal ones, when they cut out a lot from the books, I was like, it's still good. It's still really good.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm going to do my best to try. I normally walk us through different moments in the movie and explain kind of what happens. I'm going to throw it to you a lot, Chris, because quite frankly, I did my best to write notes down, but I just didn't know what was going on. So we start out, Oscar Isaac, LeDuc Atreides. He's, leading Ned Stark. What?
But it's allegedly who Ned Stark's based off of.
Oh,
It's a similar plot line.
Oh, that's lovely.
Okay. Noble leader.
Yeah.
Gets killed from, being too trusting type of thing. So anyway.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. That makes me feel good. But it was good to see Oscar Isaac playing a normal human being. Since, the last role that we saw him in, he was playing a D+ version of.
Well, don't say we, because nobody saw that movie except for us, Tony. So don't bring the audience into this. He was in the
card counter.
A movie that had so much potential that absolutely nobody saw except for us. And there's a reason for that.
Because it was not good. It was a D+ version of Taxi Driver, is what it was.
It does give me hope though when you see Paul Schrader and Martin Scorsese make something that shitty.
Yeah,
kind of makes you look at the mistakes in your own life and go, maybe I could end up to be Peyton Manning, which is a really inside joke that I should not have said.
So we're introduced to LeDuc Atreides, and they're doing some chant, and then some other guy from another planet's there to sign over a mining planet for spice. Is this correct? And Chris, you are muted, sir.
Yes. Essentially, yeah. I mean, you first see the opening with Lady Jessica and Paul.
Sure.
That's your introduction to them.
Okay.
But yeah, you're essentially you see the planet, Arrakis, the desert planet first. You see that, and there's that opening about this, the spice aspect, which is kind of a very important aspect throughout the movie. It's kind of what drives the plot line. But
right.
And you see House Harkonnen leaving the planet. You know, they're like getting into their ships and taking off. That's the opening, and the and then it moves to Leto and that stuff on
that scene that I very eloquently described.
Yes, but first it opens with the spice and that aspect of it to kind of bring it in.
Gotcha. Okay, so then I believe this is the point where we get introduced to the man geniusly named Duncan Idaho, played by Jason Momoa, who he's looking great. He's doing, I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing. I'm pretty sure, Tim, you were the one that was texting me this. Just Jason Momoa, he is doing exactly what he should be doing at all times. He's killing it.
Yeah, I mean, you never see like Jason Momoa try to do like some sappy rom-com or
which he probably gets offered every single day.
Or the weird horror movie or the weird Netflix television show. He's just, I'm Jason Momoa. I'm jacked. I'm gorgeous. I'm going to play Jack gorgeous people. That's what I'm going to do. I'll make a lot of money doing it.
If you need me to have dialogue, I can, but I don't need to.
Yeah, absolutely. He's there to look good, get shit done. Say a couple douchey one-liners and get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
he's the token badass. You know, he's the token badass in whatever movie he's in.
Absolutely. Okay, so then we get introduced to the spice. What's spice in the real world? I had in my head the entire movie, it's like a weed uranium hybrid. Thoughts?
I was gonna say it's somewhere like Bitcoin and cocaine. Like it's got this like value that very few people understand and they're willing to kill themselves to get. But it also like gets you high, makes you productive. I don't know. That might be a stretch. This is why we have somebody who actually knows what the fuck he's talking about, by the way, because we would just be doing this podcast right now and anybody who actually likes Dune would have turned it off like 10 minutes ago.
Bitcoin and cocaine. Okay. All right. Chris, tell us what it really is.
So it does two things. One, it gives like people who navigate the universe, it gives them sight to be able to like see these pathways throughout the universe. So it gives them the ability to like navigate. That's how they've been able to navigate throughout the universe.
Right.
Secondly, it also extends life. It's like a key to immortality. So it has two uses. One, it's that it for the very wealthy, it can be used to extend life. So it's a drug in a sense. And then the secondly is that it gets people high enough to navigate the universe. So there you go. It's literally, it's a drug. So the cocaine is not far off, but more useful than cocaine.
I will say the anti-industrialist, anti-capitalist themes in this movie, especially once I found out this was like a 60s book, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
What's old is new again.
Yeah.
we're still kind of in this like. That's why I thought
in the 60s. He went to the freaking desert of Oregon, and he's like, "Yeah, I know what I'm gonna write."
Yeah, that's exactly what this movie is. By the way, once I knew what era it was from, I was like, "Oh yeah, someone went out, did LSD in the middle of the desert in Arizona, and was like, watch this."
Hold my shroom. So then we get Oscar Isaac looking incredible as incredible as ever. He ends up at this desert planet. Tatooine. Yeah. Chris, what's the name of it?
Arrakis.
Thank you. And then Araken is the like fortress. Yeah. Not important. So we got
his reaction was just no, that's not it. That's not it at all.
Doesn't matter, because here's the thing. The very fact that I prepared to do a podcast for this movie, I've watched it twice now. Couldn't tell you. Would have no idea, because the fucking thing's all over the place. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Unless I already had a PhD in the books beforehand, I would have no idea what's going on. This is like the worst version of Inception, where I'm gonna need to see this like 4 or 5 times to understand it. But the only difference is, and I don't think I'm gonna actually enjoy any of those rewatches. So we get to this fortress in just desert, where they have to, at a certain time in the day, because it gets so unbelievably fucking hot, they've got to close it down. Which maybe this is bringing out the Arizona in me, but I got angry when they did that, because I'm like, I just remember growing up in that heat, and I know exactly what Oscar Isaac is feeling right now. It's miserable. And instead of sand, there's just spice everywhere.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like
it's both. It is sand and.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Instead of just sand, it's also spice. It's
And by the way, I'm saying spice because it actually has a name, but I'm gonna butcher it on the podcast, and I'm gonna get a lot of people angry at me.
Yeah.
So
no,
we'll just call it spice.
We're gonna go ahead and call it spice. So
hey, fuck the masses. First of all, we should try to say we don't need to apologize to America, Chris.
Yeah,
we can try
Chris.
to-
Chris, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. Nate, since I know you're a loyal listener, please stop calling me during recording of the podcast. So we get to this fortress, and then we meet. Oh, we've already met Paul, but then we see that Paul's there hanging out in this like room with some holograms. He's watching some videos about how to walk through the sand so that the sandworm doesn't kill him. You know, he's actually doing the reading. Then a little like bug droid assassin, they send that to kill him. And can I just say, if you're gonna try and kill who's supposed to be the chosen one, supposed to be Jesus, maybe a little bit more firepower next time, that he can't just catch in his hand. It seems like a bad move. That seems. I've made this joke before, but that seems like an assassination attempt set up in the Trump administration. Just it seemed failed from the start.
Except for that one would have just been like nuking the building.
But nuking the wrong building.
Yeah. In like a entirely different planet.
Yeah. And so then that happens, fails miserably, pisses off Oscar Isaac. What happens next, Chris?
So at that point, I mean, they find the assassin that was piloting the item, but
The asset.
That night though, they then all go to bed. With
Yep.
like double security and all that kind of good stuff, and they are giving sleep aids by the Dr. Wellington Yu.
Nice. Okay. Wonderful.
Oh, Tony.
So we're getting that's a 5th name now in my head for this movie. So we get to that point where Oscar Isaac, we find out that Lady Jessica's his concubine, which interesting. And then he makes the comment, "I should have married you." Don't know what's really stopping you. You seem to be pretty well off. Doesn't seem like you're wanting for money. Definitely seems like you could.
Well, prior to arriving at Raucous, you skipped over a pretty important part of the movie.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. See, this is why you're here, Chris. What did I skip over?
You skipped up the whole interaction with the Bene Gesserit.
Oh, no. I was going to get to that. Get
Okay.
to that because this movie I knew since it was directed by Denis Villeneuve, and because I knew what Dune was about. I didn't know anything like that actually happens, but I knew like the premise. I knew that there was going to be a lot of bong hit moments. I just knew that there was. But we get Paul going into this like sorceress who's, by the way, a very COVID friendly attire. I mean, there ain't no particles getting out of that shit. So, good on her. There's this thing called The Voice, which is not just a network television show. It is a way to it's like, Jedi mind tricking people.
It's the Force.
It's the Force, basically. Where as long as you get the right pitch, though, you gotta practice your tones, you gotta practice the pitch, you gotta really want it, and then you can force people to do whatever they want.
It sounds very similar to a different type of mind tricking that appears in another movie series.
Yeah, and just like that movie series, you never really understand the mechanisms of how it works, but you can kind of like make up your own version and then write fanboy fiction about it and hope that it comes true. And when it doesn't, you can get upset about it. But I hope that that's not the Dune audience, but that is the Star Wars audience. I do have a certain amount of loathing for.
From what I've seen, though, at least the little surfing of the interwebs that I've done throughout the whole Dune discourse, it doesn't seem that toxic. Star Wars.
Oh, it's got 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was a very well reviewed movie, not just by people who read the book or people who watched the 1980s movie, by morons like me who thought that Star Wars or thought that it ripped off Star Wars for half the fucking movie. Even I kind of enjoyed it.
So I was just confused the whole movie. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't want to have Tony just being the only guy up here being like, I don't know what the fuck was going on. Like there were parts where I was like, I don't understand any of this. But then it was, I think I texted you at one point. I was like, I have no idea what's going on here. Yeah. I eventually caught up. My wheels got under me towards the end.
Oh, that's good.
But for a while I was definitely like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah.
But in its defense, I think that you could say basically the same thing about any Star Wars movie. This is why my thoughts on fantasy movies like this one, if the producers of the new Aragon movie are listening, if you're going to do a fantasy movie, please, for the love of Christ, do it as a TV show, because it just works better that way. If you're going to do world building, I mean, if they did Game of Thrones in a 2-hour movie for the first season, it would have felt hectic and weird, and it wouldn't have hit the same way. The reason that show was great was because of its pacing over the course of many episodes. I think with fantasy as a genre, it just works better when you have 12 hours to play with in like a season, whatever platform that's on. Doesn't mean I still like the movie. I just think that if they had more time, they could have done a better job at some of the things that Tony and I are pointing out of just being like, what the fuck is going on here? They could have spent an episode explaining some of that stuff and it would have been probably a little bit better. But
that's not what they decided to do. But
you probably don't get Zendaya for that one though.
Probably don't get Zendaya. And if we don't get Zendaya, what's the point?
I'm with you.
So Paul is getting this test where he sticks his hand in a very like Indiana Jones way. Again, they ripped it off from Indiana Jones. No, they didn't, but it doesn't matter. Sticks his hand in there, and it's, I would imagine, pretty painful since he's, shaking, and this Messiah-like character is pushed to the brink of succumbing to his urges, I guess, is the way that they end up putting it in the movie. And the test is to make sure that he doesn't. And if he doesn't, that's a good sign. It didn't seem like it was almost like they were hoping that he would fail, not hoping that he would succeed. And that like him succeeding doesn't really prove anything. It just proves that right now they can't prove, or it just shows that right now that they can't prove that he's a piece of shit, that he's not the Messiah. And that they're obviously, as we come to find out, they're hoping that the Messiah was going to be a woman. So, no, they were not. No. Interesting. Okay. I missed that as well. Chris, take the reins.
So this is the first point I wanted to point out from a difference from the book to the movie.
Okay.
In the book, he knew this test was coming. The Bene Gesserit had come to Caladan before they went to Arrakis.
Yep.
They came. Lady Jessica, Paul met with the Bene Gesserit. He knew the test was coming. So in the movie, we see that he's woken up in the middle of the night. Lady Jessica comes, gets him, and she's fearful. She was always fearful, but like Paul knew it was coming. In the movie, he did not.
Yeah.
So the test was
I didn't know it was coming either. So
right. So the test was to determine whether or not he's human or animal. And as we say, movement or retreating, pulling your hand would be giving into your animal instincts.
Right.
And she would kill him then and there because he is of the Bene Gesserit lineage. You can't trust an animal with these kind of powers, powers of the voice, basically. Hey, dark side, there you go.
exactly.
Anyhow, so what it was is that Lady Jessica was supposed to have a female, and was supposed to then the House Harkonnen was supposed to have a male, and they were supposed to then
Breed.
get together, and that
Got
would
it.
then end Atreides and the Harkonnen basically battle between each other, because the Bene Gesserit, with their whole goal is to basically move humanity forward through like science knowledge and like control of humans, basically, because they think that humans left to their own devices would destroy each other. They feel that like they need to kind of manipulate things from the edges. So that was
Like the
Lady
TVA.
yeah.
Exactly.
So that was supposed to basically a male born of the Ben Gesserit is would be the chosen one, but like they're like incredibly powerful, and Paul hasn't shown that power yet. That's basically what this was, is that she was like, you're supposed to have a female, a male would be the chosen one, but he's clearly not powerful enough. He's not it.
Yet. So
I mean,
then we get Dr. What was that again?
so his name is Wellington Yu.
Wellington Yu. Okay. So he trusts the bloodthirsty overlord. It's an oft-made mistake. Can't say I wouldn't do it myself if put in that situation. To save his family, he decides to, infiltrate the fortress, then help kill the Atreides line that he had served forever. And then he gives him the poison pill to try and kill the leader of House Harkonnen. Do I have this correct? Okay, lovely. So it works, but not how he tries to have it work. He gets the leader of House. So then Leto Atreides gets taken to the leader of House Harkonnen, and he tries to kill him by biting down on the poison pill. But like, since he can float, apparently, he ends up in a Bacta tank like Vader. Is this correct? Right?
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. So
Playing with fire.
How so?
No, I'm just saying that like we're finally making fire here. Your first attempts at describing the plot
yeah,
were a jumbled mess at best. So
yes,
we're on the right track.
So I just have a question for I'll pose it to first Tim and then Chris, since we've been leaning on Chris a lot on this podcast. So Tim, if you were taught how to use the voice, how often would you practice it to make sure that you could do it perfectly for the rest of your life?
Okay, I'm not trying to sound altruistic with this. Having the ability to control other people is really not something that I strive for or would want to have. Seems like a lot of responsibility to be able to control.
Think about you at like the age of 12, though.
Yeah, no, I like at 12, it just would have been like ice cream, candy, pizza, iPod, whatever, like whatever stupid shit that a 12-year-old wants.
No. But like,
Uh,
would you do everything in your power to perfect it so that you could then do all that stuff, or would you just kind of push it off like Paul has?
I mean, obviously, in all of our profession, having the ability to control somebody with your voice would be very, very useful. So I'm not
Right.
going to sit here and pretend like I wouldn't like it. But in my day-to-day life, having it, I don't think I would enjoy it. Actually, seems kind of like a burden.
Seems like a burden. Heavy.
I mean,
the
I'm not. I
head
don't
that
live on
lies
a
the
war.
crown.
I don't live on a war-torn planet. I live in suburban USA. Like nothing's
Well,
going to come for me
well,
here.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
mean,
like fucking bears here that are going to like try to eat me. There's nobody coming to like take my shit. Like I live a very carefree life when all things considered. I don't need to control people. Like, I mean,
Wow.
I would like, would I use it on the Chipotle guy to not charge me extra for double meat? Probably. But
So it's interesting that your mind goes there and not like, all right, Jeff Bezos, let's pay taxes. No,
yeah,
or hey,
no,
here's,
because I don't think
here's
that's
some
the thing.
cinema.
I
Build
wouldn't
back
be able to
better. Let's do
but-
it.
But the thing with those people is you have to be close to them, and all those people are surrounded by like walls of security. So I feel like I would never get close enough. I'd have to like come up with a plan to like get in the same room.
No, you just have to be running a marathon. Then you'd be good.
That's true. I could run a marathon, except for I can't run. So
So okay, so leader of House Harkonnen, he's in the back of the tank. LeDuc Atreides, he's dead. And it's his understanding at his death that Paul and Lady Jessica are also dead. So House Atreides is forever gone. But wait, Paul and Lady Jessica are okay. They got taken away on one of the caterpillar little fucking things that are really cool. That's probably my favorite part of the movie, which
little
shows you
fucking things.
yeah, what are the? I know there's an actual name, but
Well, they're dragonfly. They're modeled after dragonfly.
yeah, okay, or
You
yeah,
said
not
beetle.
caterpillar. Or, yeah,
They're
what?
caterpillar or something like.
I'm trying to juggle a lot of thoughts in my brain about this movie. So yeah, they've got the dragonfly helicopters. Those were pretty cool. Really good CGI by the effects team. Dope. One thing that you can always say about Denis Villeneuve's movies, same thing you can say about Christopher Nolan's movies, they're always going to look beautiful. So, I mean, if this movie was one thing, it was very visually pleasing. So,
Yep,
um,
agreed.
I'm going to take a break from the plot for a second because
Oh, please, yeah,
yeah,
That
the
makes
plot
sense.
with
yeah,
the
that
plot.
makes sense. Okay.
I just have to say, good movies, doesn't matter if they're a lead up movie, good movies tend to still tell a story that gets completed at some level within itself. And this one just did not. And if it did, please tell me, because I can't quite nail down what this movie was supposed to do except for to make Denis Villeneuve more money in part two.
So I would counter that with saying that it did have kind of a somewhat of an endpoint. Like they ended at a good spot. So they ended kind of. So for you guys, Dune is a 3-book. It's not really like a trilogy because when you're reading sometimes those books, it's like book 1, book 2, book 3. It's kind of like acts. This one ended kind of like the beginning of book 2. So it went a little bit into book 2. Like book 1 ends when they're like lost in the desert in that tent.
Which, by the way, I think that would have been a better way to end this movie. I then there's like some suspense and excitement coming for the next movie. And then you're just leaning into the fact that this is a lead up movie and you're leaning into the dramatic effect to where at least the ending of the movie is cool and exciting. You would still have the problem that there isn't really a story that begin, middle, end in that movie. But then at least the ending is leaving me wanting to know more. As it is right now, it's like, oh, okay, well now Paul's gonna just keep going towards his vision, start the Holy War, yada yada yada. Cool.
Well, it's his now. What it takes up is his life amongst the Fremen.
Right.
And that's the big thing, is that the whole aspect of this movie was the Fremen are an oppressed people on this planet. Like, it is, and you have this power play between the Emperor, who was scared of House Atreides. So there was actually a plot for House Atreides to be crushed altogether by Harkonnen. Like, the Emperor's forces teamed up with Harkonnen. And the Harkonnen also sabotaged the planet. You see that in one of the points that you missed when explaining the plot, is that Leto and Paul went out to the desert in one of those dragonfly copters and saw one of the spice harvesters, and then also saw the sandworm, these mythical sandworms that roam around.
Right.
So I think there's like, leaving it when he joins the Fremen was a good point, instead of leaving it in the desert, because that, one, it would have been too long a movie to make two, and we'd have to do 3 movies, because just like there's 3 books. And 2, you can kind of fast track. Like, there was a lot of things that were, as I said, there's a lot of things changed from the book to kind of streamline the movie and also make it more cinematic. Like, not having this whole thing about the Ben Gesserit, not having the whole discussion about the Emperor, really, which come book 2 and 3, the Fremen, and then when it now turns, what's going to be in the second movie is going to be a lot. It's going to be like a solid 3-hour movie plus. So there's a lot to come, but I think where they left it was actually a good stopping point, because you see Lady Jessica hasn't been accepted yet. Paul has, because killed him.
Which, okay, so they're in the desert. What's the thing that they're in? The like tent. What is that?
Well, it's a tent that absorbs basically the moisture that they, through your breath and through your sweat.
Sure.
As it evaporates, it collects that and then puts it into a bag, and you drink it. It's just like the suits, but in a tent version.
Wonderful. Okay. So they're in that. That saves them from the hunters that are going around to kill them. Then they get out. The sandworm sequence happens. They end up getting to the Fremen. And then when they're at the Fremen aren't really huge fans of theirs. And then Paul ends up doing a fight to the death to show that he's worthy. He ends up killing their best warrior with the help of Zendaya, which, again, Zendaya, I yes, 100%. I would love to have more Zendaya in this movie. So, which I would imagine part 2 will be Zendaya heavy. So we get all that, and then as they're walking away, there's a couple 1,000-yard stairs that, I'm sure Timothée Chalamet would like to think will get him Oscar buzz. I very much doubt that anything other than like cinematography and editing will get any Oscar buzz from this movie. But again,
so is this? I have a question.
Yeah.
So you have this thing in sports, whenever there's a quarterback on the upcome, that you kind of get a little defensive about your corner
on the upcome.
So is the Chalamet thing? Is this like people compare him to a young Leo, so you're feeling like he's on your corner a little bit, and you get a little upset?
No, I love Chalamet.
You seem to be very, very anti. I'm just trying to get a feel for you, because I know as soon as somebody starts creeping on the corner of one of your boys, it gets a little feisty with you. I don't know. You get a little like angry about stuff.
No, I love Timothée Chalamet, but I got no problems with him. It's just not that good of a movie. I don't know. It's one of those things where I wanted this to be good. I like Denis Villeneuve movies. This is the first movie of his that I didn't even love, and obviously I disliked it. And so I don't know what more to say other than it's just not that well of a made movie. which is, that can be changed with the second movie that then could possibly inform what I don't understand about the first movie. Or like I said, maybe I just need to watch it a couple more times. But if I need to watch it a couple more times, as someone who watches a lot of movies and comes onto these podcasts and talks about them and gives reviews on them, if I'm not getting it, for me, that's a mark against it. I don't know.
So I'll pose you this question to kind of counter that.
Yeah.
How much of the Star Wars universe do you understand after watching episode 4 for the first time?
Oh, zero. And that was my point.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
episode 4 at the time was the most successful movie ever. So like obviously it hit.
Right, and this one
this
one did too.
Well,
Yeah, this one made a lot of money. It made money
In
and
a
it was
pandemic.
on HBO.
In a pandemic, it made
Okay.
a lot of money.
is
In a
it the most
pandemic.
successful movie ever that's going to change the
And by the way, Star Wars
genre
4,
forever?
I don't remember if Star Wars episode 1 at the time made the most money when
Episode
it came
4.
out.
Well, and
It
at the time it was just episode 4. But Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so that's why I said episode 1 at the time, jackass. I don't know if it made the most money out of any movie. I don't think it was. I mean, Star Wars didn't really become the culture phenomenon that it is until after episode 5, what was then episode 2. So I'm not comparing Dune to Star
Okay,
Wars,
well,
but
hold on. When
episode
it came
4
out, they were called episode 4 and episode 5. Like
okay,
they didn't
whatever.
go back and change that.
This is okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, no,
That's-
I'm just no, but
Sorry for,
I mean,
for people who don't know.
but-
I dislike Star Wars very strongly.
Oh, no,
I don't
no,
think
they-
I don't think
they
it's a good
understand.
franchise. I don't think any
And-
part of it's even redeemable.
and the world disagrees with you. But
That's fine. They'll
And-
come around.
no, episode 4 was like it was the first movie with special effects. It completely changed the trajectory of cinema. This
But what
movie is not that.
But what I'm saying is that you're saying that like, okay, I don't get the universe, and maybe I have to watch it a couple times to understand what's going on. Star Wars was the same fucking way at the time, and you love Star Wars, and you
Do love
defend
Star
it with
Wars.
your life. And so I'm saying that like you having that kind of take about this movie is just saying, I'm not there yet, so I don't like it. Where you're with Star Wars, you're like, this is great, even though I have to watch it a few times to understand what the fuck's going on.
So
And by the way, it did not make more money adjusted for inflation than Gone with the Wind. But whatever.
the
Whatever.
adjusted for inflation police is here.
So
So,
Gone with the Wind came out in the 30s.
So what I'm saying is,
yeah, you kind of
can't
have to
have-
adjust for inflation.
I love it. No, I love it.
What I'm
I'm
saying
just
is that your
saying.
Tony's take, you about how a movie can be wrong because you have to watch it multiple times, you're falling on your sword because Star Wars was that way. Star Wars, it was immediately that way.
Well, see, here's the problem though. I was able to watch 4, then 5, then 6, then 1, then 2, then 3 in like 2 days. So I don't know. And I mean, quite honestly, I already kind of just knew what was going on in Star Wars before I even saw the movies, just because it's such a big thing in pop
Right, you
culture.
didn't have to watch it in theaters when it came out in
Exactly.
the 60s.
I'm not saying that I'm disliking the movie because I didn't understand it. I'm saying I dislike the movie because I just don't think it was very well made, and the dialogue in it's confusing. The acting in it is okay. I mean, Timothy
Fantasy
Chalamet,
movie.
yeah, Timothy
Fantasy movie.
Chalamet is pretty good in it. Oscar Isaac is great in it.
I'll say
where-
this.
That's really where it ends.
It's better than any Star Wars movie I've seen except for 5. Like hands down.
And that's just incorrect.
Just it's better than 7, 8, and 9 by like miles, like hundreds and hundreds of miles.
Wait, 8? I thought you were an 8 stan.
No, I'm a 8 isn't terrible. I like that movie. But it's
Wait,
still,
okay. Are
but
you
Dune is
doing are you
Dune
doing
is
a podcast
hundreds of
thing?
miles of better.
Are you doing a podcast thing right
I'm
now?
not doing
or
a
do you
podcast thing.
genuinely believe that?
I genuinely believe that. I think it's
Wow.
hundreds of miles better than 7, 8, and 9,
Wow.
and 1 and 2.
Well, okay. Now you're punching below the belt, and I don't appreciate.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not. This is for a different podcast. Like, literally, like, even the people who love Star
Yeah.
Wars have to admit 90% of it is horseshit.
no,
Like,
no,
like
90
unwatchable,
No.
unwatchable horseshit.
no.
Like,
And you haven't even experienced like 10% of it, but again, a different podcast for a different time. So the reason why I did not like Dune is because I don't know anybody's name. Fair.
well, fucking learn. What do you want me to say? You because you can't
No, that
remember
was-
the fucking.
It was a
name?
joke. It was a joke. So yeah, no.
Like, okay, Tucker Carlson.
It's yeah, exactly. No, it was yeah. Come on, we need a laugh track on this.
Oh yeah,
so-
that would be great.
I'll get on that. I'll get on
yeah,
that.
appreciate it, Chris. So I just think that this one's gonna need to marinate a little bit. I honestly think if I had the time to watch this a few times before this pod, I honestly think that I would be saying it's pretty good. It's all right. It's not
What-
bad.
What I want you to do is watch 2, then go back to 1, and then watch 1 and 2 back to back.
Yeah, that's probably gonna, and then I'll probably end up coming on here and saying that I was wrong. This, the way that I'm coming to this podcast feels a lot as though if you put a microphone in front of me immediately after I watched the How I Met Your Mother finale. I was just angry. I don't know what I wanted, but what I saw was not it. And that's what I think happened with this movie. I don't know what I thought I wanted, but whatever I just saw, it was not what I was hoping for. And so now I'm angry. And I'm reacting like a petulant child. So, MVP of the movie, Tim, who is it?
That's tough for me. I mean, I don't know. Like, are we? This question always gets me because I can't ever decide whether I want to give it to one of the actors in the movie who I think did the best, or I want to give it to an actual character,
Either.
which feels flawed.
Either.
I mean, it's got to go to the leading person in this movie who brings it all together. I think Chalamet is good in this movie. I think he's good in the role. I mean, to be honest, I saw Call Me by Your Name like a long time ago, and I don't remember a single goddamn thing about it. Other than people liked it and it won a lot of awards.
Yep.
I am always skeptical of the person that we're crowning as the next great actor before he's really made, like he's had what, like one movie that was Oscar worthy so far. And we're all of a sudden like comparing him to young Leo. And that's a lot to put on a kid's shoulders. And I say kid because he actually is younger than me, I believe. I think he's like,
We're getting to that age, Tim.
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's considerably younger than me. I'm sorry if you're older than me, Mr. Chalamet.
I would laugh my ass off. I'm gonna get research on it, and if they tell me he's like 34, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Though I know
Yeah.
he's not.
He's got a very young face.
I think he's older than Tony by like 1 day.
Let's see. Son of a bitch, he is. Son of a bitch. December 27th, 1995. So there you go. Well, I'll be damned. You are older than him though, Tim, by a solid 2 months.
Well, okay. Well, I was wrong. He's got very young looking fellow. Good for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually, with this movie, it sort of proved to me that he's definitely somebody to watch going forward. I think that's hard to do in Hollywood. I think it's hard to break through and actually have the culture at large actually recognize you as somebody who matters. And I think he's now ascending beyond just the cinephile types that know he's good, and more mainstream people are starting to realize that he's really fucking good.
Chris?
So I'm torn because there's two standout roles that I really saw.
Do you need a moment? I can give you a moment.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I got it, and
Okay.
I'm gonna agree with. I don't want to agree with Tim. I wanted to like talk about something else, but
Nobody
I
ever
do
wants
have to go with Timothy Chalamet on this one because he brings that kind of teenage angst that really kind of goes through the first book. being born into this life that you don't really want, or this role that you don't really want. I mean, you kind of see that really kind of crescendo while they're in the tent. But he plays that role so well. And you really believe him in that moment that he doesn't want it. He, you know, he actually turns against his mother in that moment, because it's kind of that moment I feel like all kind of teens kind of feel at a certain point in their lives where they're like, I wish I was never born, kind of thing, or why was I brought into this world that I didn't choose to be brought into, kind of. We're all kind of, that all I think most people experience that at some point in those kind of pivotal years, and he really sells that really, really well. I mean, you kind of see it coming through the whole thing, like, why are we on Arrakis? Why do we have this? Why am I in this family? Why do we have to, like, and then it kind of comes into this point where it's like, okay, I'm getting an assassination attempt. We are being, taken into the desert, bound, gagged, and my dad's dead. And now we're stuck out here, and we're stuck on this planet. And I think that's a really big moment, and he plays it really, really well. So that's why I'll say is I think he gets the best one in this movie.
Yeah, and for the record, I do think that Timothée Chalamet is a good actor. Like, I'm not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, etc. person. Yeah, no, I'm not.
How long did you have to think about that one?
Well, for this movie, I had to take a beat to think about it, but I came down, I think, on the right side of history. I mean, he played it he played it well. And I think he played the role. It felt like he knows what the rest of, like, it felt like he knew the moments that he's going to get to do in the second movie. And he was doing certain things in the movie that are setting up the later stuff. It looked like there was a lot going on, and he was dealing with it, and he was doing a really good job. So we'll see. My MVP, though, it's easy. It's Mr. Duncan Idaho. Not only for his name, but he sacrifices himself for Jesus. He sacrifices himself for Jesus and goes out the only way that a Jason Momoa character can really go out. And that's, I'm going to take all of you motherfuckers with me. You're all dying, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just that scene was awesome, where he's just like, yeah, I'm going to go and lock the door. Y'all get out of here. I'm like, if this was a Marvel movie, we'd be kicking in some, Thor Ragnarok level, like 70s rock, and just let's just see some cool shit. Let's see him flip around, stab some people, cut some people's throats, and then he'll die, and it'll, a lot of fun will be had by all. So MVP, Duncan Idaho, not even close. If you could be anybody, who would it be, Tim?
None of these people appear to have a very good life. Not gonna lie to you.
That is always your answer.
No, I mean, it's a very tragic kind of world. Like, nobody seems to really be killing it, and I don't want to be evil. So, I mean, I'm gonna forget their name. They're based on the Fates, though. Again, another Greek mythology thing for you. Nice. But the Fates.
Well, can we get another view of that bachelor's degree, Tim?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There it is. No,
I mean, you might as well display it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, those people seem to be in control of what's going on. I like their line that we deal in centuries, or whatever they said, not in years. So seems pretty nice.
Chris?
Immortality seems cool. I don't know. It's a hot take. But.
Immortality seems cool. Okay. That'll be the social cutout for this episode. Chris?
Who would I be if I could be
Who would
anyone
you
in
be?
the movie?
Absolutely.
God, no one in this movie appeals to a role I want to be. It's just because everyone just gets shit on at some level.
Yeah.
I mean, Sharon Duncan Brewster.
Oh, okay.
who played Liet Kynes, who was like the ecologist
Yeah.
on the planet.
Yeah. Okay. I
Oh,
like that.
yeah, where she just starts pounding the sand. I was like,
Yeah, that was dope. And she saves them. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Mine is either Leto Atreides because he dies and doesn't have to deal with this bullshit anymore, or just someone who isn't on the desert planet, because you know where I wouldn't want to fucking die? Somewhere that looks like the place that I was born. That would kill me. The last moments of my life would just be absolutely miserable. Limbo lesson. I'm gonna give mine first because I learned a lot from this movie. And that's, you guys are gonna like this, that the spice, it's nice, but the secret is in the sauce. Leto has eyes too much on the spice, and he ended up getting killed as a pawn in a game that, if his house was truly as powerful as you're led to believe, he should have been playing that game, and he should have caught that shit before it started.
Wow. That was fucking awful.
yeah,
can't
especially
believe-
because you also, by making that, you truly didn't understand why he went to Arrakis.
That's my point. That's the whole point, is that I'm going to need to see this movie like 5 more times.
Who gave him Arrakis?
I don't know who that person is, because I
The
don't think
Emperor.
we ever seen him again, or we ever
The
see him again. That was the Emperor. Great. Awesome. Okay.
What
so
happens when you disobey the Emperor's orders?
you get killed.
So did he really have a choice?
Well, turns out he didn't. But he should have.
He had to go to Arrakis. He had to go to Arrakis, and he was going to be backstabbed by Harkonnen and the Emperor, or if he just stayed on Calderon and didn't go to Arrakis, he would have been attacked by basically the entire Emperor's armada. So you really had to, it was, am I damned here or am I damned later? Damned if
Yeah.
I do, damned if I don't.
And if you're truly this great leader of this great house, you got to be able to build a third door.
Nobody
really
said he
do.
was. Look, great leaders in the eyes of the beholder. This was always my thing about Ned, is that he's supposedly a great leader, but he's kind of a fucking dumbass and doesn't know how to play the game very well. So
Yeah.
again, goes from cold world to hot world. You get the point. I've already made all the comparisons. Let's see here. My limbo lesson. Tony's was so awful that it actually kind of broke my brain for a second. I was like,
So not gonna lie, when
I
I
don't
was
even
writing
know
that,
what the fuck I just.
yeah. So when I was writing that, I had the thought of, okay, so I don't know what the hell I just watched. So let's try and get a play on words with spice.
Yeah,
And-
you kind of
and-
did like a Politico headline. You did the Dems in
yes.
disarray.
Yep.
Spice is
Uh-oh.
nice, but yeah. Yeah. You did a fucking DNC subject line. Yeah.
Conservatives are coming for our progressive policies. Please hit this button to donate $5. That's the level of creativity I put into that.
I hate those fucking emails like you wouldn't believe. Okay. My limbo lesson
Yep.
is that not all fantasy is complete garbage. Star Wars really ruined my faith in this genre for a long time, with how terrible it is, and how much you just get burned by those movies over and
I
over
feel
again.
like I feel like every single time Star Wars comes up, Tim reacts like someone mentioned his ex-wife, and in the divorce, she just took everything from him. Like, I'm talking house, cars. Like, he went from living in a 5-bedroom, 4,000 square foot house to now like a studio or 1-bedroom apartment in like Sheboygan now. That-
No,
that-
you know
Condo in
what it-
Iowa. It's that
that-
condo.
know
it's
what
that
it
condo
sounds
in
like?
Iowa that he was talking about. It just sounds
You know what it
sad.
sounds like?
It just
You know what it
sounds
sounds like, Tony?
spiteful and angry for the only reason because he feels hurt. And I
It
think
sounds like
we just need to talk about it more.
it sounds like when you hear about a horrible disease and you're like, fuck that disease, whatever it may be. That's what I'm talking about with Star Wars. I feel like I just heard somebody mention a horrible disease and I'm reacting that way. Just wow, that really sucks and it's horrible. I wouldn't want to die of that.
Say if you could get vaccinated for it, you would, yeah.
Well, of course, I'm immunized.
Exactly. All right, Chris, teach us something.
Teach Tony something.
Yeah,
Jesus.
teach me something because I'm lost. I am
God.
like if only Moses was in this movie and he could show me the way. Because like we're in a desert, I feel lost, I feel hungry, and I feel
Yeah.
blind, and I just don't know what's going on.
That was the feeling I got as well from you, Tony.
Yeah. And I'm just grasping for air, basically. That's I'm gonna make that the title of this podcast. It's gonna be movie review : Dune : Tony grasps for air.
That'll get the people going. That'll really
Absolutely.
boost our numbers.
Absolutely.
The ones that can shift and change with the wind, much like the sands of Dune, are the ones who will eventually win.
That's right.
All right, hold on. I need to grab my bong. Hold on. And
No, you need to write that down. You need to write that down is what you need to do, Tony.
yeah, say that again for the listeners. Please, Chris.
So the ones that can change and move with the winds, much like the sands of a dune,
Yep.
are the ones who eventually will win.
Wow, that's profound. That's profound. Nothing else. Just mic drop.
Go rewatch episode 2 or something, Tony. Make yourself useful.
I mean, episode 2 also ends in on a very sandy planet, but yeah. So
I don't like sand.
it's rough. It's
Course,
coarse
gets everywhere.
and gets everywhere. Ted Cruz Award. As a joke, I would say that I want to give it to myself because I want to.
That's what I was
want-
gonna say.
'cause
You
when
stole
I-
my thunder on it.
Because when I finish this movie, I just want to punch myself in the face for wasting 2.5 hours. But
I wanted to punch you in the face after listening to you talk on a podcast for an hour. So
yeah, but
I think
that's normally how you feel. That's not
two-
special to this movie.
all right. Well, 2 for Tony. Okay.
No, but my actual one, it's the doctor. Bro, my guy, you trusted this Jabba the Hutt looking overlord to save your family. What do you think was really going to happen? Come on, you're a doctor. You know it was going to happen. I know it was an act of desperation, but not only did your family get killed, but like the guy that you swore to serve also got killed because of you.
So
Come on.
I'm gonna give it to obviously the evil person in this whole thing. Go ahead, give it to the Emperor. I wonder if in Dune Chapter 3 somebody's like somehow the Emperor returned, and we just kind of move on from it. But I don't know. I'm hoping not.
Yeah, no, that I will never defend. That was fucking awful.
A lot
Just
of it is.
terrible. Just terrible.
A ridiculous majority of it is.
Yeah, well, this isn't a Star Wars podcast. Chris. And if it was, we would not have Tim on. Chris.
So it's gonna be pretty interesting. If we had to give it to everybody, or like only the people that we saw in the movie. Lady Jessica.
Okay, so Chris, I think this is actually a first because I have strategically, I believe I have never given the Ted Cruz Award to a woman. Very intentionally. Chris, for the first time in Tim and Tony pod history, I believe, is giving the Ted Cruz Award to a woman. Explain why you are pro violence against women, Chris.
I'm not pro violence against women. I just think that she was the one that I hated the most in the movie.
Okay.
Everyone else had kind of a reason.
It'll roll.
Lady Jessica had Paul against direct orders from the Ben Gesserit. Shouldn't have had a male. That screwed it up day one. Number two, she now has a second child. She's pregnant. Comes out in the movie. Two,
Didn't come out in my flawless description of the plot.
Yeah. Two, she knows about like Paul's visions, and then as soon as they're like met with the Fremen, she's like, "Get us off this planet." So, no. You know Paul's visions. Everything that Paul has visioned about has come true. What is his vision? Oh, I'm basically going to be like ruler of this planet. So just roll with it. But no, she's doing all that kind of stuff. And then also like basically is like, oh, now Paul, you have to now defend us and fight this guy on my behalf, kind of thing.
Sure. Okay.
Like, I was just like, it was just, I mean, granted, it's kind of closely resembles the book, but at the same time, I'm just like, you don't understand anything about like your son, Paul. You gave him this life, you cursed him basically. Everyone doubts him. You didn't train him soon enough in the voice. Then you're like forcing this whole destiny upon him, and then you neglect his destiny as it is. Like you gave it to him, accept it, and she's not, and that's what makes me angry at her.
Actually, with you on that one.
That was great. Yeah, no, that was perfect. Thank you, Chris.
Mom of the Year award.
Absolutely. And then obviously, would you rather punch?
She's also from House Harkonnen, if you didn't know that.
What? Just dropping truth bombs, Chris. I love it. I did not know that.
Did you watch this movie, Tony? Be honest.
You of all people, you're asking me if I watched the movie. Is that what we're doing right now?
Listen,
we don't have to get into it. And then, would you rather punch Lady Jessica in the face or Ted Cruz, Chris?
Oh, Ted Cruz.
Wonderful. Tim?
No, I'm just kidding. It's Cruz for sure.
Ted Cruz.
He actually fucks with my life.
Ted Cruz every day and twice on Sunday. Did you like the movie, Tim?
I did. I liked it more than I expected to.
Oh, okay.
To be honest,
That's nice.
because whenever I go into something like this that has like a huge lore behind it, I'm always nervous because I'm just like, am I gonna be like Tony today and just not know what the fuck's going on with anything about what I'm watching?
Because it's not a good place to come from. And
no,
I mean,
it's
and honestly, in your experience, you have been so burned by Star Wars.
Well, yeah, whenever you go into like if it's a movie, not a TV show with these types of things, I always get a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
But I did like it more than I expected, and I did like it overall.
Nice. Chris?
Yeah, I liked the movie quite a bit. I mean, granted, being someone who read the book a while ago, coming into it, I had a little bit of foundation to watch the movie upon. I liked it a lot, more than I thought I was going to, actually. Especially when you read like, some critics are like, oh, it has old themes. You're like, bro, the book's from 1965. Of course,
I wonder why.
Themes. Yeah, it's like, this theme's been overplayed. It's like they're the ones that created the themes in the first place.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't know how they're a critic and I'm not, but hell.
Who says you're not a critic?
Just get paid for these critiques.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But
wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah. But no, I really enjoyed the movie. I liked it. If I had to give it a score, I'd probably just give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Oh, okay. So
not 9 or not 8.2, but it's an 8. Just
solid 8. Solid 8. Which I tell you what, if I got what's a letter grade equivalent of an 8 out of 10, if I got most of those in law school, that'd be great. But so okay, I have written down. that I did not like this movie. But after this conversation, I'm going to put myself much like the oft talked about voter in Iowa around the caucus time. I'm undecided. I don't know if I like this movie or not. I am going to watch this a couple more times because I like Denis Villeneuve. I like Timothy Chalamet.
Fence sitting. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Firmly. I like Oscar Isaac. I like Josh Brolin. I like all these people. I like Jason Momoa. There's no reason for me to dislike this movie unless it's just a movie that I don't get, which currently it's very apparent to everyone that I do not get it. So as of right now, I am undecided. I am hopeful that I will turn into a yes. So there you go. Anyways, Tim, now what are we doing?
We're getting the fuck out of here. Is what we're doing.
No,
We're gonna give the people back the rest of their day.
No, we've got one more segment, correct? Or are we gonna hold that? We're not gonna do Succession? No?
We're gonna hold. Yeah.
We're gonna hold
We're
it.
gonna hold. We're gonna hold.
Okay. All right. Well then, as Tim just said, in a future movie podcast, we will be doing a review of that week's episode of Succession. Currently, though, I think we've given you guys enough premium level content. So, Chris, I already know they cannot find you on social. Tim, where can they find you?
I am unfortunately on the hellhole of social media. On Meta, you can find me at LeDuc 32.
In the metaverse.
Tony, are you on Meta? Are you in the metaverse, or where are you?
I'm firmly in the metaverse. I'm walking around. I actually saw Zuck, as you know, as his friends call him. I saw him.
Yeah, I saw his little avatar thing doing heroin on the side of the road the other day. Didn't seem to be doing too well.
Yeah, I threw a rock at it.
Yeah,
made me feel better. I saw something called HP. The level went down, made me feel good, gave me a quick little serotonin shot. It was great. So yes, they can find me at Felix 3412. Tim, what are the fine listeners going to get to hear from us next?
we're going to be coming back with an episode Monday morning. We're going to be recapping the major news stories of the week, which I can already tell it's going to be a doozy this week.
It is going to be a whirlwind, people. It's going to be great. It's going to be, tell you what, bring your coffee, Tim.
Oh, I'm ready.
Because we're going to need to be firing from the hip on this bad boy. So anyways, everybody, thank you so much for listening. I apologize for my confusion, shall we say? Or just
don't apologize to people. How many times I got to tell you fuckers? Don't apologize to them.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Tim. And on that note, Ted Cruz and House Harkonnen, please go fuck yourself. Ellis Monroe, please play us out.
One day, someday, fiction girl. She's my one day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Gotta have her, gonna call her baby. One day, someday. She's gonna call me baby, gonna have a family. I can see it in her eyes. Our future's so bright. Gonna wake up by his side. One day, someday. She's my one day, someday. Fiction girl. She's my one day, someday.